Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, January 13th edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As usual, reminder that we are governed by a code of conduct, which generally says to be respectful of your fellow attendees and speakers and generally be excellent to each other. So, as we mentioned before we hopped onto the recording, we have moved our note stock. We asked for that to be updated in the calendar invite, but I don't think it has yet. So we might have to remind someone on that. But I have updated the old note stock at the top of it to let you know that there's a new doc for 2023. One that's not 200 pages long.
Yeah, that was a big file.
It was very big.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it had been the same note stock since we started this group in 2020. So,
wow.
New.
Yeah, that's ouch.
Alrighty.
So, you want to talk about what we did earlier in the week, or what's still in flight? I guess.
Well, I mean, we'll get to that in the table too.
Okay, cool.
But updates, big wins. If you want to share it as an update, big win.
So. I have commits that need to be recommitted because rebasing has to happen. For an updated owner's file, Caslin did the lead handbook commits, right? I have that somewhere. I just need to approve them, I think.
Basically, Chris and I did work.
We did real work
for this group.
Yeah.
We'll go through each individual item as we come up to it in the table as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Lots
and we had to update
notes
charters and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. So we updated the charter. We added in a sub-project lead role, which we'll need review for, obviously. We could bring that up once we get to it in the table, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll need to find that link. So you might want to have it handy. And we also updated the owner's files, or one of them. I actually still haven't gotten the PR in for my other one. I was going to wake up early and do that, but that has not happened yet. So after this.
So yeah, I need to pull back that owner's file change that I did and redo it because I forgot to freaking branch it. So welcome back to the new year, everybody. Fork and branch. Just in case you forgot over the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're worried about Git, don't worry. So are we.
Yeah. I've had to delete so many Git repos this week, y'all. It's just bad.
It's been rough. We tried to make 2 small changes, 1 each. Well, 2 each, I guess, technically.
Jesus. Oh, it's bad.
And we've had so much trouble with it. We are not very good at Git. I don't know that anyone is, but
mediocre at best at Git.
What was someone saying?
No, I was saying, like, is it Castle you want to update this owners file as well and something didn't go well?
Yeah.
With the contributor use, yeah. Okay.
As you saw. Yeah. I'll explain that to you some other time. That's not something we need to go over here.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you have seen, I messed that up. And I still need to finish redoing it.
Yeah, same. So
yep.
Don't feel bad about your Git mistakes, y'all. It happens to the best of us.
I think we need to print out the tweet from Chris that about the Git he tweeted something. I mean, when you mess up, you clean up and then put it back.
I mean, I use that XKCD comic every time I actually have to
exactly.
do that. I just post it on social just to remind folks, and every time I swear it takes off. Right, at least once a quarter I have to do it.
Yep. Still, no one knows how to use Git. That is one thing I have learned from open source contribution. But actually, it's not just me. No one knows how to use Git.
Bob does, kind of.
Except for Bob. Except for Bob Killen. That is a fair exception. Anyway, so that is an update big win that Chris And Caslin did like lead work and stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll go
That's
over the
a-
individual elements in the table.
Yeah.
And someone added another update big win.
Yeah, so I added, so I don't know if Mark Adams is here. So there was a PR rise for the tech shadow, so I'm happy that for comms tech shadow role, Mark volunteered and there is a PR rise. So I can't approve it still, so someone from the community has to approve it. So.
Yeah, trust me, it's on my radar.
Okay, cool.
That will
Thanks.
also soon be fixed, right? Once we have the
Yeah.
owner's file fixed, you
Yeah,
should be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to approve the PRs to our
So-
main repo. All of the leads will have the ability to approve things. That's what we were going to do.
Yes.
We'll want to actually go over those and let you know what we're changing. We can go over that in the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get that commit in before we get there.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll be able to approve it yourself, but it still needs an LGTM from someone else, technically, anyway. So
And as we learned this week,
Preferably.
anybody in the Kubernetes org can LGTM a PR. Not anybody can approve it. And there is no inheritance. So it's not like if you're a approver, you're automatically an org member or anything else. Like you got to still have all that stuff set up. So yeah, fun stuff. Lots of lessons learned.
granted, it would be very strange if someone was an approver and was not an org member. So they should go hand in hand generally, but
You
they're
would
not
think.
associated with one another
Right. There's no connection to make sure it's right or anything.
on the technical side.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll make sure to get you that approver ability. And also we should probably have someone else LGTM it. So if you could add in the link to that PR, that could expedite that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it here.
Wonderful.
And notes. Notey McNote notes. Where are you?
There it is. Lovely.
Ta-da.
So can anybody on this team LGTM it? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
me? Okay,
Like
yes.
if you review it and like you don't see anything wrong, feel free to LGTM it.
okay,
Because
got
you're
it.
in the Kate's org, right? Yeah.
Yep,
So you're
I
good.
think so.
Pretty sure you
Feel
are.
free to add all of your LGTMs. We can all express our
Yeah,
excitement.
It can have multiple reviews. We are the comms team.
Perfect, thank
Oh, what is? Oh, that
Oh.
was weird.
Where'd you get that from?
Visual Studio Code does that. It like brings all of the formatting with it.
Barf.
Yeah,
All right. What am I doing?
that was my owner's
I had
file
a
update.
question related to the LGTM thing.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up?
So if anybody goes and just do a LGTM, will the bot respond it with a label?
It should.
Anyone with org
Oh.
membership.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not like any random person. No, you have to be an org member, right? Like to do anything. But yeah, any org member can LGTM.
Okay.
Yep. That is what we've learned. Any other updates and big wins? I
Early in
have
the
an
year.
update that Ray is here and I'm excited about it.
I'm back. Hey, folks.
That's an
Had
update.
a-
And a
keep it
big
up.
win. 2 in 1. Good to see you.
Nice to see everyone too.
Yay. Happy 2023. Excited that everyone is here, of course, but Ray's not been here for a while, so
Poor Ray.
excited there are so many people today. It's wonderful. All right. So if there are no other updates and big wins, of course, they're welcome anytime. But any new items that folks have noticed? I see that there is one thing. someone
That's
added.
for me.
Wonderful. That would be why you're here.
Yeah. So there will be an incoming request for new tweets. I assume the process is still the same, where we create an issue
Mhm.
for the tweet.
You can.
Yeah. So this is so O'Reilly shut down public access for Katakona for everyone except for Kubernetes.io. But in December, they reached out and said we want to shut it down. and we
Mhm.
want to shut down at the end of the year. And that was, they haven't shut down yet, but we told them, give us a little time. So yeah, so we will send some comms about that. There's reach out to LWKD as well. I think you've seen that in Slack channel. We'll do a tweet as well. We have a GitHub discussion that's live. We want to invite folks to give us options as well. I know Kubernetes.dev is using, and we'll go to GitHub code spaces, so that's also an option. And also things like what Katacoda, what wasn't there in Katacoda, what we maybe some ideas of what we would like in the future. So just kind of have that GitHub discussion, that place for folks to place their thoughts. All right,
Sounds good. We've been trying to keep track of what's going on with the Katacoda stuff. Anything we can do to help. I know that Chris has looked into GitHub code spaces a little bit. I'm sure that's one of the options you all are looking at.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll look at that and look at any other.
Yeah, I
option.
mean, the code spaces thing, I looked at it at the end of the year, last year, and it looked good to me, right?
Mm.
Like there wasn't any like glaring errors or omissions, I felt like.
Yeah.
Let's go like this. I didn't take any notes on it.
Yeah. Craig Peters asked me to test it, and I did. And back
Yeah,
then,
it worked fine. Yeah.
yeah, it worked fine.
Cool. So if you need any help with testing the new solution and obviously with communications to the community, we're here to help.
Yeah.
If you want to use the contributor tweets repo to write your own tweets, you are welcome to do that. I don't know if you have Buffer, but we could also give you Buffer access, which
true.
would probably
We
be
could.
easier for you.
Yeah.
Because we have Buffer, our newer Twitter tool. It has the ability to schedule things. It's a nice UI. So if you would prefer to do it through that, we can get you set up with that access. Preferences? GitHub or
I'll just do
Buffer?
GitHub for now. Probably need a Tor Buffer in the future, but
Cool.
Yeah,
maybe
we can do
anytime.
that.
Also, well, shoot, this is public. Never mind. After the meeting, I'll say something.
All righty. Sounds good. So reach out anytime you want to tour a Buffer. You know where to find us on Slack. And I'm excited to see where Katacoda goes quickly. And there's another new item.
Maybe I have a question before we jump to the next item. So regarding this
Yes, please.
tweeting using GitHub versus the Buffer, so I think our current automation has some issues. I think it's a long,
Mhm.
since last quarter, it didn't work out. So should we prioritize on how should we go about and fix it? Should we directly use Buffer? And I think last time when we spoke, at least we had a kind of consensus that we will use the Buffer, but somehow integrated via GitHub. So that was the last thing we thought.
Yeah, we're
Instead
trying to
of
sort
using
that
our-
out.
Yeah, so maybe should we prioritize it? Because I think the current, the workflow using the automation tool and stuff with we have some script to generate this stuff, and then it creates a lot of overhead. I think it's somewhere we are, at least in the last time, it didn't work out quite well. Should we prioritize this thing to find a simple way to integrate Buffer and GitHub to look
I
at
mean,
something?
I think it's going to take a while to sort that out, realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
meantime, it's fine to file an issue with the contributor tweets repo. And if our automation isn't working there, then we can just grab the information from that issue and put it into Buffer for you.
Okay.
So either way, same use case for you, Ray. And then on our side, we'll make sure that it gets tweeted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
at
like
least,
it's up to the approvers to make sure it goes out the door,
Yes.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can, that would be wonderful. But I think it's just going to take a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
New
let's
thing to
hope
figure out.
since it's a new year, so at least we'll take at least by this year if you could replace the current automation, then maybe it's a good task with the tech team to do it as well. So we have
Yeah,
people,
the
so-
tech team that we have
Wow.
as part of contributor comms. That's a new task for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, could be. We could use this.
I like it. We're also working on obviously updating the owner's file for contributor tweets to make sure that you'll have approver access for changes to that automation. So it sounds like we'll need to add the shadow to that as well. So maybe it's a good thing I haven't put that in yet. Let's go with that.
There you go. Yeah. Fortuitous.
Fortuitous. Indeed. All right. Any other new items? Yes, there is one other one. I think that's also you, Imran.
Yeah. So this is the other one. So I think there was a Josh started the discussion in ContribEx channel. So we have a bunch of issues regarding the K8 dev upgrade. So it's some of them related to analytics, some of them related to Hugo stuff and Go. And maybe we could, I was thinking that this also could be, that's what I said in the chat, the message, that we could also take some of the issues and we could work it through. And I think Chris was also interested in it. So maybe I'll assign a bunch of them to me, then not a bunch of them, at least one or two. So feel free to take it, and then we can also, so there are fresh issues happened within our K8 step. So
Is he cutting out a little bit?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
Cutting
are
out a bit.
issue or not, because they are not. You hear me? It's better now.
It's
Yes.
better now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So something happened to my internet. So where did you lost me? This is so I just want to confirm that we can assign the issues for ourselves. So that's the one thing I want to say. And so I want to clarify that there is no comments in most of the issues. So do we need to dig down and verify the issues correct? And do we need to, before we solve the issue? It's something I didn't understand from the issues, because there is not much information written, why it's needed and so on. So the why part was missing to me. So I think this is where the Josh want to clarify with the one who wrote the issue. So you get it, what I mean?
Like there's a set of issues and you want to make sure that you can claim them, basically.
Yeah, we can claim them. And before that, so what's my question is, like, is it issue is triage, like we have,
do we have
verified,
triage
like,
or not?
triage, exactly. That's because we don't have the triaging part within. I don't know if the ContribEx does it, but we don't have special issue triaging process. So because there is no tag, nothing is there, it's a bunch of issues there. So I don't want to take issue. Yeah.
I mean, you like in general, when it comes to open source projects, you can take issues. When they get stale, we'll get a warning, right? Like we'll get an alert from a Kate spot that's like, hey, there hasn't been any changes here in 90 days or whatever. So feel free to take them. If you somehow drop them or need to hand them off, let us know.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's a good point. We should have some kind of triage process.
Yeah, exactly. That's
very
that's
lightweight. I feel like, right? Like, hey, this needs to go to blah, right? Like insert team here.
Yeah. So that would be nice. So that's what I was thinking. So yeah.
And if you need any labels, I don't know, sub-project, subgroups get labels, but I feel like we could add some if needed.
Okay.
No big deal.
Okay. I'll grab some of them and maybe in the upcoming weeks we can discuss it.
Yeah. Feel free.
It'd be great if we parsed out a process. I'm sure the rest of ContribEx would love it. They're already excited about our roles.
Has a process. I wonder if we should just copy that, Entirely possible.
Potentially.
Okay, I'll do that. So I'll start assigning the ones which I feel I'm comfortable with, and maybe feel free to assign for yourself, and then we'll speak to it in the upcoming weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now that we have a tech team, this is more of a thing that we should figure out.
Exactly. It's ratchet. That's all we do.
Cool. So we can discuss more either asynchronously via Slack or set up messages or set up meetings via DM or whatever. Probably start something on Slack so that we remember to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But I know I have that problem after this meeting.
Yeah.
All right. So sounds
Cool.
like we've got some good updates, big wins, and new items for our first meeting of the year. Off to a strong start. Any other updates, big wins, or new items before we move into the table?
Cool.
All righty. I think we'll move into the table. So starting off, Hina has reached out to me and said that she has conflicts going forward, at least for the next like 3 to 6 months or something. So she does not expect to be involved with us for a while. As such, I know Atarva had been interested in helping out with this remaining action item, which really this one is just like a tracking of what was done. And this one is the only actual action item, I think. Maybe I should combine these. Let's do that.
Smarter, not harder.
Previously on this item. Previous relevant PR. It's going to be a lot of doing things with the table today. I'm very excited about it. All right, so I removed that first row, which was just a tracking of Hina's work setting up a team in GitHub for us. And setting up, I guess, the issue thing. I think that's more tracked in this one though. But what's remaining on that is we want better ways to make sure that we know when an issue or PR is created that we should know about, which this sounds like what we were just talking about. So maybe Imran, this should also be something you look into as part of the issue triage process.
Mhm.
So you could look over that element of the table for more context on what's been done so far. We had ideas about what to do. I'd have to read through all the notes to figure out what exactly it was. I know that we had added an at our team into the issue template. But we also, I think we wanted to try to find a way to automate when the label is applied, also pinging us as a team.
Right.
Yeah, we were still trying to work out if there was existing stuff for that, or if we needed to create something, or what the best way was to do it. So anyone who wants to work on that, I know Atarva wanted to. Is Atarva not on today? I don't have my participant screen up.
He is not. I don't
Nope,
think.
Atarva's not on today. And he's been really busy lately. So if you are interested in helping out with this, that would be wonderful. And Imran sounds like relevant to you, so I'm putting your name on it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Congratulations on the more work.
You can add me on this. I'll figure it out.
Cool. Thank you. It sounds like a pretty cool problem to solve. Can be a little intimidating with the label component of it and the GitHub component.
It's all GitHub, right? Like
It's all GitHub.
that has always been like the thing I hope focus on more when it's like, hey, we need to foster new contributors. Hey, we need to make our processes simpler, right? Like,
you know what process needs to be simpler? Git.
Yes. And like that's part of the reason I say that is because Git and GitHub is hard enough. And then now you've added
whatever Kubernetes adds on to
and Kubernetes automations on top of it. It's like, you know, this community works completely differently than any other because of its size. And
it's giant.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah.
And that's where we live, in contributor experience. So that is very much part of our purview.
Yes.
Alrighty. So I don't think we need to go over that in more detail at the moment, but if you want to talk about it more, you know where to find us. So the next item is moving the KubeCon tweets sheet to our new drive, which I did this morning. One thing I
Yay.
managed to do in my 5 minutes before this meeting. And then I hopped on right at time and everyone was staring at me and I was like, oh no. I feel like I'm late.
We're fine. We were all early today, it feels like.
Apparently, y'all on
Yeah.
top of it for the first meeting of the year. Bravo. Such a wonderful group. So excited about it. So basically what I'm saying is that I could delete this row, but I also realized just as we were starting to talk about this, that it's almost time for KubeCon.
God.
So I should probably just leave it and switch it to, we need to make tweets for KubeCon EU.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of that, if anybody here wants to volunteer as a lead for the Contributor Summit in Amsterdam, there are roles that do not require you to be there physically. Please let us know. And you can do that by going to the Summit staff channel. Just contact Noah Abrams. He knows how to get it all going for you. But like, there's an issue I can say, give you, and you can be like, hey, I'd love to volunteer as this lead. And yeah, we're desperate right now at this point.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Registration. I mean, I'm doing comms with like 17 shadows. And then there was, I think I'm trying to find the issue.
Do you want to
right
bring
now.
up the issue?
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
can just
hang
kind of
on.
go over it. I was also actually thinking about taking on a lead role that was not comms this year. So I would be in the same boat as just about any of you, except that I've been to a couple of contributor summits. So there's that much, but I would not know that much about the role that I would be leading. So it's possible to learn a role as you lead it.
Yes, there are handbooks, there are past works, right? Like I'm using the work that Caslin did last time, right? Like we totally do that in this community where we just iterate on things and improve them as we go.
And I started leading because Chris was leading. And so I joined as a shadow and we kind of ended up like co-leading ish. And I ended up leading the next time. We just kind of work it out.
Yeah, I had to offload, didn't I? Wasn't that last time?
I think so. It was
Yeah.
like a few CubeCons ago, 2
Mhm.
CubeCons ago, EU last
Maybe.
year, maybe.
Yes, that was hard. I was going through the whole thing with my niece.
So we've got each other's backs. That's basically what it means to be a lead or a shadow, is to have each other's backs and make sure that the work gets done.
So yeah, I'm looking at the PR right now. We need leads for Reg. Well, wait, there's an updated table down here. Hang on.
Is there a table that
There's a table
updates?
further down. So we need a lead
Oh.
for registration. We need a lead for the social event, day of operations. That is obviously like you need to be there kind of thing.
We could do that one. Maybe.
Leading registration, you can totally do remotely. Social event, if your shadows intend to be there, I feel like you could lead remotely. And day of operations, I mean, right now I'm a shadow for that, but it could very well end up I become a lead.
Registration, definitely the best one to lead remotely. And I would say it's not, like it's not bad to learn on the job, because basically your job is to make sure that there is a form that people can use to sign up, and it's got the information on it that you need to know, which the rest of the leaders will tell you about what they need to know, and make sure that it closes at a reasonable time and that all of that information is passed on, I guess, to the CNCF at the right time. Which you can figure out all of these pieces from the role book and from talking to the other leads who've been involved with the Contributor Summit before. So it's pretty accessible role if folks are interested.
Yeah.
Whom should I connect to in case of Reg?
Just reach out in Summit staff to Noah, or you can comment on this issue here that I would love to lead Reg. If you're
they would
interested.
probably prefer that you comment on the issue.
Yeah,
honestly.
comment on the issue instead of talking.
Yeah,
to
so
Noah.
I
Unless you
did
have questions, then I would definitely talk to Noah or Bob or somebody that's done Reg before. Jeff has done Reg before. There's a lot of people that have done Reg before, actually. So
Yep.
Definitely a thing you can do. And
Josh,
like everybody's here to help you. So don't be afraid to volunteer.
Kim.
Yeah, Josh added add a meet and greet coordinator. Anybody know what that is?
So we do a SIG meet and
Oh,
greet, but
that'd be
it's
interesting.
after the contributor summit. It's like the Thursday or Friday
Oh,
of
okay.
KubeCon. But basically it's just coordinating space with the CNCF, getting the leads. Like there is a comms component to that, that I have a shadow that's going to work on, but you would work with them to talk to the SIG leads to figure out who wants to, have a table or representation or whatever. So there's some, conduits that are, kind of handled for you to an extent, because
Okay.
we'll reach out to the leads as comms folks on your behalf. All you have to do is just like make signs and coordinate space and such. And I think CNCF takes care of a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I might be able to do that one.
Yeah, I think for me personally, my travel is booked, but I do not know for certain if I'm going yet. I've just been told changes are going to happen. So be that as it may, I'm in a kind of a critical position for the team, Kubernetes here at AWS. So I don't see how I wouldn't go. We'll see, but I do intend to be there right now.
I'm basically same. I need to make sure that I get my justification in. I don't expect problems, but it is difficult to get travel these days, even with the
Yes.
big companies,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
especially with the big companies, perhaps. Don't know. Yes. So I added that as a new item at the bottom in our daily notes. I probably won't add that to the table because it's not technically really a contributor comms thing.
No,
We
I
just
was
have wonderful
begging
people in
for
our group.
help.
So definitely check that out. It's a great opportunity to get involved with KubeCon, get your face more well known by more of the rest of the folks in the community. A lot of folks who've been very prominent in the community for a very long time help with the contributor summit. So you start to get known as a person who does things, and that can be helpful if you want to continue to move up into leadership and help out with the project. I'm sad that I don't get to delete this row. I mean, I could, but I'm going to use it because I need to do this. I still need to set up the new page for that. If anyone wants to be a social media shadow, this would be a great item for you to work on. I should probably ping about that in Slack. This would be a great time to add in a social media lead shadow thing. Yeah, so let's move on to the next item. Owner's file. We just said update owner's file because we were not sure what owner's files would need to be updated. What we learned in this is that sigs.yaml has the owner's files that are relevant to us listed. So we actually don't need to, well, we actually do need to edit sigs.yaml, which I don't think we did when we had our meeting, right? Because there was an upstream marketing thing in there.
Shit, was there?
We just need to update the text. Yeah. Maybe we
Okay.
should deal with our current PRs because we're clearly having trouble with those.
I know.
Um,
I don't know. That's what I do. Okay, never mind. So there
but
is a.
we're updating two owners files.
This
I'll
is
look at
weird.
the YAML thing separately.
This is where Git and GitHub really irritate me. I have two different branches with two different changes.
Branches
yet
or
when
forks. That's one thing I'm
one
thinking
fork,
about more this
one
week.
fork. That's
Okay.
a good point. One fork, two branches, two different sets of changes. Second branch that was created wants to incorporate the changes from the other branch. So it's like, wait, no, that's not right.
The target is set wrong then, right? It needs to target origin.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I'm starting to know things about Git. That
I
is how
appreciate
you
this.
know I've been here for a while. Never thought that would happen.
It could also be that if you created that second branch from the first branch.
Yeah,
I did. Damn. Okay. Good point.
that must be what happened.
Yep. Delete branch.
I wonder if I could find sigs.yaml real quick. If I just put in sigs.yaml, will it just bring up the Kubernetes one? No,
no.
it didn't. Thought it was worth a try. Which one is that in? Is that in? Oh, we found it. It was that one in Kubernetes community? Yes, it is. Haha, found it. So if we find contributor comms in this file, thought this would be a good way to find the owner's files, but now it is a giant wall of text because that is what sigs.yaml is. Haha, you had to do rebase, deal with conflicts all day, Avinash. I feel for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, the most difficult part.
It's so difficult. I think having a visualization of the bubbles is essential.
If I don't use a GUI for that, I am destroying my local copy. I'm serious, y'all. Like dead serious.
Impossible to
It'll
understand.
just get smoked on accident somehow, some way, I promise.
So interesting fun fact, in sigs.yaml, the last week in Kubernetes development owners file is listed as one that we have ownership of.
Which makes
This
sense.
was something we learned.
Well, I think I knew that, but
Yeah.
I didn't remember that we had made that change. It was just one of those things where it's like, that kind of falls under comms, and Josh was like, let's put it there.
Yeah. So we have had discussions in the past about our team having more ownership of last week in Kubernetes development, which Federico's not on today, but that would totally be a Federico thing if we do start doing more with that. Because it is a publication where Josh has generally run it, where he talks about what happened in the last week in Kubernetes development. With our mission being to help spread the word about the wonderful work that contributors are doing, it makes a lot of sense for us to be involved with it, but we've never actually really made that happen. So I just put into the notes the two links that we are updating. We are updating. Oh no, they're the same, aren't they? No, they're not. Good. So we are updating the our main contributor comms repos owner file. This is the raw link. Forgot about that. I need to fix that
Mhm.
later. I'm just gonna leave it for now. You can see what it was. There's a lot of folks on here who were previously involved with the group and who are not so involved right now. Like Rajula, many of you have met, was basically our previous tech lead, and he's not so involved with us now, though he tries to help out when folks need some help. But we're proposing moving him into emeritus, Pensu into emeritus. Only Dole, we don't know why he was there in the first place. He does
He was
lots of stuff
involved. He
around.
was involved with us early on, but
I guess so. Yeah.
he left before Matt did, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while.
Yeah,
So we're moving a
done
bunch
this
of
for a long
people
time.
out into emeritus. He's not even an approver, so he won't even be an emeritus. And then we're updating this one. Do you want to bring up the issue that you have, Chris? If you have it,
I
are you
do.
too embarrassed by it?
No, I'm not embarrassed. Not anymore. I fixed everything up.
Really
Let me just
embarrassed by
find it
mine,
real
but-
quick. Here we go. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I'll bring this up.
So the owner's file, like if
So
you go to
here's the
files
changes that we're
change,
making.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, everybody that's a reviewer is also an approver, minus a couple people, because you're all leads.
Reviewer means that you will be pinged.
Pinged automatically, like it'll be a random selection of people that get pinged automatically from that list when a new
Yeah.
PR issue comes in. The approvers are the one that can actually say /approve. This is
So in this case,
leads.
we want, if you're automatically pinged on an issue and asked to review it, you will have approver access as well.
Mhm.
For this case.
But that does not mean that it's your sole responsibility to, you can say, hey, one of us look at it kind of thing. it's like it is random how it assigns it. So it could be that it assigns it to the wrong area sometimes too. And we might just have to change that.
So all of our leads will have access to approve requests in our main repo.
Actually, and that's closed. Why did I, which?
Oh, this is not the right one. This is one of the ones that we borked.
There it is. Here we go. I've got the right
But you can
one.
still see the changes.
Yes, it's the next number. Sorry.
Okay, so it's just leads that are in the reviewers, correct?
Correct.
Right now. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to get assigned, we can totally add you to
This
it.
is the charter.
Yeah, that's the charter. Shit. Now I'm confused.
Also, another change that we're making is that we're updating the team charter. There were a lot of mentions, of course, of upstream marketing. So we're updating those to make sure that it reflects contributor comms. We've updated some information about how the team works with all of our beautiful new lead roles, which, like I mentioned, the ContribEx like SIG asked us about in one of the SIG meetings because they thought it was cool that we were doing that and wondered if they should turn it into a process. So we're doing awesome work by just making our lead roles. You might have thought that that was basic, but it is not.
Sorry, I can't. I swear to God, I just opened it.
Yeah. If you've never checked out the charter, it's a useful document. It's not all that long. And it has some nice information about it. Like it has this decision-making part that talks about if there were any particularly contentious decisions, here is the theoretical process that we would use to resolve them.
Mhm.
We ever actually use it? Pretty much never, but we do have a process in place should we have issues. There's also information about how to leave the group. Not that there's that much involved with it, but just you are encouraged to run off and do your own thing if you want to. We love to have your support as long as you're around and happy to give it. And whenever you want to move on, we are happy to support you. And there's some stuff about like our general goals and stuff. So the charter is another important update that we're making.
Trying to find the PR that I just opened. I swear to God, I just opened
Update repo with role descriptions. I don't even know that we had one for updating the charter. So I think I'll just add another one. I thought I was going to delete a lot of rows today, but maybe not.
Well, you can, yeah, you can update it and then delete it. PR is in place. I mean, that's all we can do is just wait. Let's see. So apparently my branch is closed. That's awesome.
If you would like to LGTM the charter, would
Feel
appreciate.
free. Yeah. No.
Ah,
Okay.
getting a 404 with this. What is this one? Oh yeah, because that's the marketing team link. Yeah.
Yes.
So in the description of the owner's files updates, we had mentioned that we needed to update the contributor comms one that we were just looking at. That link is now here. This one is the old link that has marketing team as the repo name, which is now contributor comms. So that's why it's broken. Thank you, Kim. Otherwise, I would not have noticed that the notes were out of date.
I find broken stuff.
Thank you.
I like finding breaking stuff and fixing it. Sorry, that was random.
Alrighty, for posterity, updated that. I guess I probably should have. There we go. That's how I should do it. Also has a PR here to update. Oh, this is one of the ones that you did. I think. Yes.
Yeah, I had to, yeah, I'm struggling.
It's one of the bad ones,
Give
but
me a
we'll
second.
update that later.
Yeah.
So yes, we've looked at that owner's file. Like I said, the contributor tweets owner's file needs to be updated as well, but I don't have that in yet because I messed it up the first time and I haven't actually taken the time to sit down and create the proper PR. But I'll give you a look at what that looks like. I'm just going to paste it right here. so that you can see it. It is tiny. We'll make it giant momentarily. Messing with the table. So yeah, we're going to update the contributor tweets owners file as well. The plan for that right now is for me and Chris to be reviewers as social media lead. Any tweet requests that come in through the repo, I should make sure that I know about, since I don't have any shadows or particular team members on social media. I was just going to have Chris as my backup, but if anyone particularly wants to be a backup for reviewing tweets, let me know. And for approvers, it's going to be myself, obviously, because I'm social media lead, Chris, because he's really good at social media stuff and is a sub-project lead, and Imran, because you're going to need approver access for any updates that you make to the automation. But we're not planning to have you as a reviewer so that you don't get pinged about tweets. You can just do your own stuff with it. So that's the plan. If anyone would like to be involved with access to the contributor tweets repo, let us know.
Yeah, go ahead and put me on that one.
Perfect.
Please.
Do you want
Thanks.
to be, I guess you would want to review tweets, right? And approve them.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll add you to we should add you to the social media team in our table in our.
Okay. Do you need my GitHub name? It's just my first last name, all one word.
Cool. I should put a reminder to myself to do that.
I can do it.
And let's add you as an approver as well. I'll put your actual, oh, sorry. You said it was your name?
It's, yeah, no space. My first last name, no space.
Perfect. Love it when you get that. It's a good name.
Mhm.
All right. And then, of course, we'll be updating the emeritus approvers with the folks that will be moving out of that file. All right. So I'm going to move that out of this and just put it in my own personal stuff so that I can update that later. Wonderful. So we'll be putting in that PR. SIG.YAML needs an upstream marketing text update. Like we mentioned, we actually haven't created that PR yet. But that's on me and Chris, unless someone else wants to make a relatively easy PR to SIG.YAML.
Remember, the more folks we have that understand the way these systems work, the better, right? Like,
You're always welcome to get involved.
mhm.
It's
I
also
know-
okay to make a mistake as well. That's how I learned.
Very much so. Yeah.
As
like,
we've been saying with Git today.
totally. It's a real pain sometimes. And I've already closed and reopened 2 PRs this morning because you get.
We welcome your mistakes. Mistakes are better than nothing. And then
The
we
worst
showed
thing
you.
that can happen is you have to delete your branch.
Well, I don't know.
Or
I feel like
fork, I mean.
updating the history, changing the Git history is worse, I feel like, which I had to do this week.
Which that's what the XKCD comic is for.
Yeah. But Bob helped me, so it's fine. And if we cannot help you with a Git issue that you get yourself into, we will make sure that we find someone who can.
Absolutely.
And you also saw the updated charter that needs an LGTM. I'm guessing someone already did it, probably.
Maybe.
So we can probably go ahead and improve that. If anyone has LGTM'd it. If you haven't looked at it and you would like to look at it, please do.
Make sure Josh looks at it.
Oh, yeah. That's
Let
probably
me
a good
assign
idea.
him real quick.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
He had all the comments.
Josh Burgess gets
Ah.
assigned something in our meeting.
Damn Skippy.
Um,
I did assign him, but it didn't actually tag him. That's
Ooh.
weird. You can't assign people in multiple lines.
I think you'd be able to. Or get issues continue.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I'm going to move on from those file
Mhm.
updates unless anyone else wants to talk about them. One thing that we did not do in our working meetings over the past 2 weeks, Chris, is update the GitHub team.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
That's another task for us to do. I'll like highlight that one. So we'll skip that for now. Slackbot issues.
Is this the announce bot? Is that
Yeah. So
okay?
yeah. So I've been, so maybe it's just an update, and before it's also good to
Yes, please.
yeah, to prioritize this to before moving on. So I've been added to the Slack admin group, so I can add them. So I just want to, I haven't touched it so far because to get it up in automation, I think I need to spend some time. Do we really need automation, or shall we just do it manually? I mean, yeah, the only issue what I understood is that we need to add this bot manually to all the groups once for all, and then we should be fine, right? So
Which we can do, but there's a lot of groups. It's going to be a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Clicks add up. We don't want you getting arthritis.
Yeah, that's
Too
true.
late.
Okay.
Question?
All right. So
No, I said too late.
Oh, yeah,
late.
indeed.
All right. Okay. So then it makes sense still. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
So my
Unless you don't
next
want to
question
take
is
it on.
that now my next question is, should we, since I have a bunch of issues in the table, so which one should I prioritize? So this is the question for too much. This is what I need to focus on somewhere,
Prioritize
so,
what you can do the fastest first. That's how I look.
okay. All right.
Right.
Or what sounds the most interesting to you. I think
Mhm,
either of those
yeah.
honestly would be fine, because I don't think any of these are super, super urgent. Though,
Okay.
actually,
Yeah, because the KubeCon is coming for me. Yeah, I just need to.
KubeCon is coming up,
yeah.
and we'll want the Slack bot probably for announcements about the
Yeah.
contributor summit.
Mm,
Mhm.
okay.
I would prioritize that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, all right.
We
Okay,
do
then
need things from
yeah,
you.
I'll spend some time on it. So
I
because
default to
haven't
my
started.
default advice, and then I realize there's deadlines.
Yeah,
Right.
true for life.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
that one
then,
also is interesting because it's mainly the Slack group that you have to work with, right? Like the
yeah,
Slack
yeah.
working group, SIG. They're not a SIG. They're working group.
There is a Slack management
Sub-project?
sub-project in
Sub-project.
Yeah.
So you're mainly going to be working with that sub-project on this. So it would be
Mhm.
good
What's the temperature?
in your work on this to let us know like what permissions we
Mm.
need in there and how we need to better collaborate with them.
Mhm. Okay. So okay, then I'll spend some time on it so that.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry to push a specific task on you, but hopefully
No,
it'll
no,
be
no.
fun.
I just want to because I have a lot of stuff I said today, and maybe I just want to align before I start working, because I have a, since I didn't attend the past 3-4 weeks meeting, so I have a fresh mind to start with. So I just want to get me aligned.
Well, we
That's good,
didn't
I'll
have
start.
3. There were 3 weeks that we skipped.
I mean, even before that, I didn't attend.
Okay.
Probably 6 weeks of meetings I didn't attend, so I completely forgot all the stuff. So yeah.
All good. It happens.
Mhm.
Exciting. So let us know if you need any help with that. Sounds like it'll mainly be pinging the Slack sub-project. What permissions do we need? Let's update some owners files and figure out what we can do to automate that.
Yeah.
If you have to do it manually, like we said, it is possible, but it
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
aggravating.
I got it. I got the depth of the task, so it's more.
Good, good. All right, so we'll move on from that one. Update repo with role descriptions. The only one remaining is me and Chris. And we have created a sub-project lead one. Is this it?
No, that's the README file. Remember?
This is the general one that we
Yeah.
merged. So I'm going to remove that. I guess it's me who submitted this, so I'm going to have to find the
Was he?
PR that I
I'll
submitted.
find it.
I wonder if it's actually wrong too, and I need to redo it. It's probably on a branch and not a fork because I was trying to use the UI because it's so convenient, but it's terrible. But
As we've learned.
code spaces is actually GA now, Bob was telling me. So maybe the way to do this is to do code spaces now.
I still use my code server locally, which is weird to say.
Can I just like find my own?
Yeah, if you go to pull request.
Sub-project lead. Haha,
there
that
you
worked.
go. Yep.
All right, so here's the sub-project lead PR. We're not going to get through everything today because we have 1 minute left. But it would be wonderful if you want to review what we're proposing as the sub-project lead role. One of you all very likely may become a sub-project lead at some point. This is being slow to load. But it's similar to the other role definitions that you all have created and seen. It's just going to be a very general, broad role, kind of a buck stops here role to make sure that things get done for our sub-project. So if you're interested in the sub-project lead, definitely check that out while it takes forever to load. And we only have 1 minute left, so I'm going to skim through the table to make sure that there's nothing critical that we're missing. Contributor site, we talked about the new issues in there and that we need a triage process for that. So Imran, message us if you need any help. SIG spotlights, we only have 1 minute left, so I think we'll skip updates on these here. But if you want to update us on your progress, ping in Slack. If you need a review on anything, maybe ping me directly and I will prioritize that. Migration from Katacoda to GitHub code spaces. We talked about that. It has urgency to it now because Kubernetes had an exception, but we are now getting kicked off. So we already talked about that. There's more notes about it in today's notes. The validate command is sporadically broken for the GitHub tweets. We talked about how we need to work that out. Ray is going to probably submit an issue to that. If it's broken, that's fine. We'll just put it into buffer. As a social media lead, it's on me to make sure that that happens. But prioritize the Slack bot over this probably. Deb had a blog. I keep pinging on that. It's fine. SIGDocs blog sub-project process changes. I don't know if Ray is even still on. Probably not. We're a minute over. So we'll get updates on that another day. Security comms guidelines. Maybe someday we'll work on that. Scheduling tweets for non-members. That is like the same thing as the other one. We should probably merge those. Add Chris's short notes about adminning to the documentation, which we're basically doing with the sub-project lead role theoretically, but we should probably actually confirm that.
I think it might behoove us to put important files that are like outside of our repo and some kind of doc of some sort, right? Like go here.
Well, we
to
do have
edit
our drive
this.
now.
Right.
Move to the new drive.
But like I'm talking in GitHub, right? Like if you need to do this, go here kind of thing. Like I don't know, there's nothing like that in the Kubernetes space, I don't think. We'd have to find an example of what to call it or whatever.
I mean, it's our repo. We can do whatever we want with it. So.
Exactly. I mean, we can call it not README, obviously, but like how to or whatever.
I mean, it's more like it's a role thing. So for this case,
Cool.
Don't know if we can work that out, but we're already 2 minutes over. Add Imran to the approvers list for Kates.dev. That's a conversation that we needed to have with like Josh and folks. So as part of your exploring those issues, you might want to look into ownership of the Kates.dev. Might want to add that as one of the owners files that we should have access to. I don't know.
Yes, we should. The contributor site's kind of where we do a lot of work, supposedly. We being ContribEx, not just us.
And Federico, this needed review. If it still needs to review, I'll look at that after this. And oh, this is a great idea that we should pursue at some point. So that being said, we are 3 minutes over. So if folks need to go, definitely do go on ahead and go. if you have a couple of minutes, I would love to hear, Federico, any updates that you have, especially on your blog process updates and this issue.
Let me start. Yeah, sorry, I was delayed. Let me. Well, this issue is this one is done, right?
Oh, yep. Looks like it was merged. So
Yeah.
that's good.
So that's closed.
This was the,
Yeah.
Good. So close that.
In terms of the blogging process updates. Yeah. So after our last discussion, I know that there are different experiences with using like a Kanban board for this, etc. I haven't added anything in there yet, even because I was off until relatively recently because of the Christmas period. Yeah. But this is something that I will work on during this week. I think it makes sense. So what I think that the board that we have, the table that we have in the notes is good to keep us in sync and on top of the events, and something like that Kanban board is good for work in progress visibility of things that come and go. So what I will do is I will reflect the ongoing work that I know exists around specifically on the blogging area in them, and I will share the link to it in Slack so that we can have an internal view on is it useful, is it not, etc. On top of that, I made a list of the potential spotlight targets that we might address that are not specifically the SIGs, but they are like sub-projects or activities of the SIGs that could be still interesting to cover in a spotlight article, and I'll commit that as a markdown file in the same place where we have the blogging guidelines.
Wonderful. Sounds like you're getting blogging off to a strong start here in 2023.
Well, yeah, let's trying. I think that there's sometimes I think there's so much that can be done that I feel guilty for not following up with every possibility, but I think that if we can follow up with like 10% of them, we will still be in the good place.
Yeah,
So
you're doing so much work. It's so awesome. We're so glad to have you.
and I'm glad to be here. So thank you for your support here.
Oh, of course. I'm glad to see that you're interested in getting the Kanban board working again. We did primarily have it as like an editorial kind of thing. So it makes a lot of sense for you to start it up as like a blogging focused kind of thing again. And more work on SIG spotlights is always welcome. Also a great place for new contributors to get involved. All right. So I'm going to go ahead.
I need to drop now as well.
I'm going to stop recording too.
Okay.
Yeah. So